Welcome, distinguished guests, family, and friends, to the 2025 Maya High School graduation. I am Tom Wells, principal of Maya High School, and I will guide us through tonight's ceremony. To ensure that everyone enjoys today's celebration, to remind you of the following. Please silence cell phones and all electronic devices. As a gift from Maya, all graduates will receive a digital copy of the professional photographs taken of them during receiving their diploma. Thus, do not approach the stage to take pictures, as this will block the views of other families. Please keep the aisleways clear, and all balloons must be stored in the back of the room.
Buenas tardes, por favor de silenciar los teléfonos. Como regalo de Maya, todos los graduados van a recibir una copia digital de las fotografías profesionales que el señor Mr. Bernal les va a estar tomando. De nuevo, este es un recordatorio de por favor no venir hacia el escenario, de todos los globos que permanezcan, hacia atrás del cuarto y a disfrutar la ceremonia.
We are also streaming this live on YouTube, and it will be available forever, so don't worry about filming the whole graduation. Thank you. And now, join me in welcoming the 2025 Maya High School graduating class. Welcome, graduates. Please turn and face the stage. Please rise for the national anthem played by the talented band Brass of the Desert. Please be seated. At this time, I would like to introduce our on-stage guest. Patrick Lawrence is the Chief Financial Officer for Leona Group Schools and the Governing Board Representative at the Kaizen Education Foundation. Mr. Lawrence will certify the graduating class. Mr. Mustafa Halal, Assistant Principal and Athletic Director, and Ms. Polaric, Assistant Principal and Innovative Instructional Coach. As I stated previously, I am Tom Welsh, Principal of Maya High School. Good evening, graduates, family, friends, and distinguished guests. On behalf of the graduating class of 2025, and with great my pride, I would like to thank you all for attending these commencement exercises for Maya High School. We are excited to celebrate each of these graduates today. Being part of Maya High School means you are part of an amazing community filled with love, hope, and commitment. Every graduate here today has worked very hard to make the best of themselves. You have persevered and worked hard to reach your goals. Each of you should be proud of how much you've grown during your time at Maya. You've made it to graduation, thank goodness. And you are now skilled and a valuable group of individuals. And each of you is ready to tackle the next set of challenges life brings, which ensure you will grow even further. You deserve tonight. It was not handed to you. You earned it. For many of tonight's graduates, this is much more than a personal milestone, but a family or even generational achievement. The graduates that I speak of are the first in their family to graduate from high school. Graduates, if you are the first in your family to graduate from high school in the U.S., please stand so you can be celebrated. Thank you. Next, I want to recognize the Maya teachers and staff. They do not seek any praise, but their skill and dedication to the task of educating our students is unmatched. It pours forth from the heart in love. I've heard genuine love is defined as bringing out the good in another. That is what our teachers do. There would be no graduation ceremony without the dedicated educators at Maya. Will the Maya High School teachers and staff please stand and be recognized? I must further recognize that the success which has brought about tonight's commencement does not belong to these students alone. This success is a shared one. To everyone in attendance tonight, thank you. Thank you for helping these graduates in all these special and personal ways. It is you who help them realize their potential. At this time, I want to invite one person to stand and represent the family and friends who have supported their graduate. Graduates, for the support they provided on this journey, please stand and offer them a Maya token of your appreciation for their support. Go get them. All right, I promise you'll get them back. No one else is still out there, right? All right. Now you should expect to get a rose or flowers for every big event in your life, right? In the years that I have attended Maya High School, I've come to love the faculty and administration as my family. Maya High School is my home away from home. We hear comments like this regularly after students realize the power and strength inside Maya's walls and within Maya's teachers and staff. Speaking of strength, many of these graduates represent the term Maya Strong, which means all in, any challenge, no excuses. Several of these graduates were all in, not only working on their classwork, but participating in clubs, working a full-time job, sometimes that job being overnight, and also attending school. Some took on any challenge by being parents and full-time students, and some of you even took the bus 90 minutes to get to Maya. Thank you. And still, there's graduates who gave no excuses, as they were refugees or homeless and still were able to graduate from Maya High School. Congratulations. Graduates, I want you to take a moment and seriously just breathe this in, right? You only graduate from high school once. I don't mind having you come back, but breathe it in. You're surrounded by people who love you, your family, the staff, myself. We've cheered you on, we've watched you grow, and here you are standing at the edge of one chapter, ready to step boldly into the next. Now, you probably heard a lot of speeches in your life, most of them filled with motivational quotes from people that you'll never meet and you'll never know. Tonight, I want to tell you a quick story about manure. Yep, manure. Buckle up. I grew up on a farm in the great state of Nebraska. Miss A knows what I'm talking about. And one summer, my dad left me in charge of cleaning out or mucking the barn. Not a big job if you got the right tools, and by tools, I mean a shovel, a bad attitude, and a kind of work ethic that comes from being voluntold. So I'm knee-deep in what can only be described as organic sadness, trying to clear out a pile of cow-generated excellence that has been fermenting all day in the July heat. I'm sweating, slipping, probably crying a little bit on the inside. Then I see my dad watching me from the fence. He spits in the dirt, leans on the post, and says, "You know, if you can handle this crap, you can handle anything." And he wasn't just talking about the manure. So that's lesson one. If you can handle the crap, you can handle anything. High school was hard. Life is going to be harder. Life's going to hand you some nonsense. That's guaranteed. But if you know how to show up, get your boots on, and do the hard thing anyway, you're already ahead of the game. Some of you are going to go into skilled trades. Some go to college, and some of you are just still hoping to wake up and think that this was just all a weird 4-year dream. But no matter where you're headed, I'll tell you this. Every job has its manure, every career, every relationship, every path. It's not about avoiding the mess. It's about knowing how to move through it without losing your sense of humor, and hopefully not your lunch too. Lesson 2, don't follow your passion, but bring it with you. People love telling you to follow your passion. They mean well, but here's the truth. If I followed my passion as an 18-year-old, I'd be a professional baseball player or a backup dancer for Rudolph Yankovic. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but he's super cool. He's very cool. So instead of chasing your dream job, chase a real one. Find something that needs doing, learn how to do it well, and then bring your passion to it. Whether it's welding, web design, teaching, I always need teachers, or tiling floors, there's dignity in all of it. It's not the job that defines you, but the passion and dedication that you bring to it. And the last lesson, lesson 3, be the one who shows up. You don't have to be the smartest or the slickest or the most impressive, but if you show up on time, which many of you didn't this morning, if you show up on time and you work hard and don't complain, you will stand out. Because that is really rare these days. Showing up also means that you show up for yourself, being resilient and standing firm in your beliefs. And don't forget to look people in the eye. Okay? Shake hands like you mean it. Say thank you. And write an occasional thank you note. Wait for it. On paper. On paper. Okay? Trust me, it freaks people out in a good way. So here you are, freshly graduated, full of potential, and maybe a little bit nervous. And that's okay. Just remember the barn. Remember the stink, the sweat, the shovel. Sounds just like high school, right? And remember, you come out of it stronger, stinkier, and ready for whatever comes next. The world doesn't owe you a thing, but it is full of opportunity if you're willing to grab a shovel and start where you are. I am proud of you. We are proud of you. We believe in you. And if no one has told you today that they love you, I do. Your My Strong staff does, and we always will. Oh, yeah. And never forget, we are
I have the pleasure of introducing our first student speaker of the evening. She is someone who has continuously risen above all expectations, both academically and socially at Maya High School. Not only has she shown up as an unwavering dedicated to her goals, she has been able to remain an honor roll student while being a proud member of student council and a student athlete as well. Her drive to succeed has earned her the title of Salutatorian, which means she has earned the second highest GPA in her graduating class. Hard work and commitment to Maya has made a lasting impact on not only her peers, but the entire Maya staff. Please join me in welcoming the Salutatorian for the class of 2025, Mariana Sanchez Armenteros.
Good evening, teachers, family, friends, and fellow graduates of the class of 2025. Thank you for being here to celebrate this incredible moment with us. It is a true honor to stand before you tonight, reflecting on this chapter we have shared together as we look forward to the bright future ahead of us. Looking back, it's hard to believe how far we've come. We faced long hours of homework, difficult attempts, and moments when we were wondering if we could make it. But here we are, stronger and ready for the next chapter of our lives. I still remember the first day I arrived at Maya High School, feeling insecure and alone, but thankfully I had amazing teachers, supportive classmates, and I was lucky enough to find my other half, Anwar, who has been there for me every step of the way, helping bring me to this moment in front of all of you. Okay. Let's remember the lessons but also for life. The friendships, the challenge, the memories. These are what will guide us in the years ahead. I will always carry the memories of Maya High School with me, like the excitement I feel when I passed the TELA test, when I was named MVP twice, and the unforgettable trips we took together. When we went to Disneyland, Nelsbury, Dave and Buster's, or the soccer state final. Thank you, Mr. Wash, for all these opportunities. I will have this incredible experience close to my heart forever. Now, I would like to say a few words to my family in Spanish. Muchas gracias a todos, tías y tíos, por estar aquí el día de hoy. Gracias por estar siempre a mi lado, por apoyarme, aconsejarme y emocionarse por cada pequeño logro que he alcanzado. Siempre les estaré muy agradecida. A mi mamá y a mi papá que no se encuentran aquí presentes, pero estoy segura que me están viendo, quiero aprovechar esta oportunidad para decirle lo mucho que los quiero y gracias por todas sus enseñanzas. Tal vez no siempre comunico lo que pasa a mi alrededor, pero quiero que sepan que todo lo que hago es para que se sientan orgullosos de mí. Su pequeña tiene todo bajo control. Y... Y en general, para familias y amigos, gracias por su paciencia, por animarnos y su constante fe en nosotros. Su apoyo ha sido instrumental y no hubiéramos estado aquí sin ustedes. I would also like to thank my mother-in-law for treating me as if I were one more of her daughters. Thank you so much for being so nice with me. I want to take a moment to say that I can't thank the incredible Maya High School teachers and staff enough. Thank you for providing me more so much than just lessons. You have helped me learn to trust and how to always be at my best. In particular, I want to thank Mr. Bernab, Mr. A, Mr. Novak, and Miss Zoe. Today marks the end of our time at Maya High School, but it's just the beginning of everything else that is to come. The world is full of possibilities, and we're ready to step into it. To the class of 2025, we have done it. I am excited for the incredible things that await us as we chase our dreams. As Mr. A always says, bye-bye London. If no one has told you yet today that they love you, I do, and always remember, we are Maya.
Thank you, Mariana. It is my honor to introduce our incredible valedictorian speaker today. Throughout her time at Maya, she has shown what it truly means to be a Maya Strong student. She is dedicated, hardworking, and full of a passion for learning. Though English is a second language for her, her determination and drive allowed her to quickly learn and achieve the goal we are celebrating today. Her infectious energy and optimism have made her a friend to many and a student to be remembered. As she embarks on her next chapter, we know she will continue to inspire, especially as she follows her dream of becoming a teacher. Please join me in welcoming our 2025 Valedictorian speaker, Jalili Villarreal Ramirez.
Oh my God, it's a lot of people. Okay, I'm Mexican, so be nice with my accent. Good evening, honored guests, family, friends, and the graduates of 2025. Good afternoon, Maya High School. I'll be honest, I thought this moment will never come, and even unless I have the honor of standing here in front of all of you. During my time at Maya High School, I saw many classmates who, in their own way, deal with their personal battles. Each one in a different way, family issues, heartbreaks, and I'm pretty sure some of us fail a class or two. But we learn how to move on. We learn the motto of this high school will. All in, any challenge, not excuses. I wish I could say we made it. We're gonna be successful for the rest of our lives. But this is not the end of our journey. It's only the end of one chapter, but the beginning of another. We all have dreams, aspirations. Just as we've done now, we will continue to achieve them. Like all of you, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of what the future may bring. Yet there's one thing I'm sure of. In a world things that move too fast, good things happen to those who know how to work hard. Good things happen to those who persevere, and above all, have passion. We are proof of that. We will continue showing that we world what we are made of. No borders, no language will stop us, much less the discrimination we face day by day. The low expectation people have of us will only make us prove them wrong. It's beautiful to see how many of us came to this country not knowing English or fitting into the culture. We left behind our roots, dreams, and the people we love. And still, despite all that, we stand out in any field. That's how unique we are as immigrants. And I love to say that I'm the best of the best, that this achievement is just mine because I'm pretty smart and oh my God, I work hard for this. But that's actually not true. I can say with certainty that I met the right people. Some of them are just passing through, but I'll carry them with me for my whole life, for the rest of my life. For example, all of my teachers, especially Mr. Bernal, Ms. Crockle, and Mr. Tobin, who taught me and supported me and Maya, as well as soldiers who have been with me for my whole life, to whom I would like to dedicate a few words in Spanish, my own language. Buenas tardes. Quisiera aprovechar este momento para poder agradecerle a toda la gente que ha estado a mi lado a lo largo de mi vida, a mi gente de México, mi gente inmigrante, que probablemente que haya muchísimos, especialmente a mi familia, quienes han estado conmigo en los peores momentos de mi vida y en los mejores. Para mi papá, que me ha enseñado cómo a disfrutar la vida y me ha enseñado cómo a trabajar duro por las cosas que quiero. A mi mamá, por cada lección que me ha enseñado, sin ti no estaría aquí. Y a mis 3 hermanos menores, quienes son mi más grande motivación y por ellos hago todo. Estoy profundamente orgullosa de mi hermano, quien hoy también se está graduando, aunque no pueda estar aquí. Este diploma también les pertenece a ustedes. Y por último, pero no menos importante, para mi mejor amiga Isa, que aunque la distancia siempre me ha apoyado. Y Isa, si estás viendo esto, sé que no te lo he puesto nada fácil, pero en más de una ocasión me has salvado y jamás tendré cómo agradecértelo. Finally, to my fellow graduates, we know there's still much ahead of us, It won't be a straight path. We'll face setbacks. We will go through pain, and we will experience losses, things we cannot control. But what we can control is the attitude we face it with. We can continue. Let's be a light in darkness day. Let's be Maya strong all day long. We'll never ever give up forever. We are Maya. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruby. Before we get to the reception of diplomas, we remind you that out of respect for our graduates, please stay in your seats and be considerate of others. Keep the aisles clear as the students cross the stage and until the conclusion of the ceremony. We will be providing the graduates with professional digital photos of the reception so you may enjoy the moment. Once again, it is my pleasure to welcome Patrick Lawrence, Chief Financial Officer for Leona Schools. He is here this evening on behalf of the governing board to certify the graduating class of 2025. Mr. Lawrence.
Good evening. On behalf of the governing board for Maya High School, it is my pleasure to certify that these students have completed all the requirements to be awarded a high school diploma in the state of Arizona. I now ask Mr. Welsh, school leader, to present the students to receive their diplomas.
Sarai Alacron Nava. Christian Cortez Alde. Student Council President Anwar Alfanesh. Jose Ariano Alanes. Ahmad Malik Bakhtiri. Aaron Michael Bastidos. Mary Rose Elizabeth Vigay. Kevin Barboa. Aye Bustamante. Leanne Riviera. Ashley Alessandra Calleros Portillo. Jade Kiana Camacho. Christian Carrasco Salceda. Josue Castro. Emily Castro Maldonado. Antonio Chavez. Yael Cortidor. Elizama Diaz Boyas. Harmony Emiliano. Alejandro Alonso Felix Luna. Flores Maite. Adelina Lucia Galevis. Delilah Monique Gamaz Vega. Melanie Gaturno Cadea. Rigoberto Rudy Gonzalez. Ajane Marie Hart. Graduating as a junior, Chris Hernandez. Angeli Hernandez Escobedo. Monica Hernandez Echavarria. Evelyn Hernandez Minchaca. Deshaun Hughes. Marcus Jermaine Kendrick Jr. Irvin Lopez. Eleazar Lucero Velasquez. Adrian Dene Charles Luna. Graduating as a junior, Alice Lundgren. Cesar Marin Echemendia. Yahaira Michelle Martinez Jimenez. Kayla McFarland. Jared Mira. Joan Emmanuel Moreno Luque. Darian Delshawn Emmanuel Morgan. Graduating as a junior, Lydia Renee Moya. Kenya Naomi Munoz Ramirez. Evan Nakia Waiwisa. Kais Nazari. Ali Nazari. Jacob Anthony Nova Payan. Mustafa Nuru. Spirit of Leona recipient Azura Piercy. Jolibeth Perez. Anthony Perez. Ivan Pulido. Alexis Ramirez Gregorio. Jesus Angel Ramirez. Angel Ramirez. Daniel Ramos. Graduating as a junior, Evelyn Rogel. Graduating as a junior, Angeline Rogel Apayas. Claudia Ramiro. Jonathan Steven Ruiz Hernandez. Karina Salazar. Isaiah San Miguel. Class of 2025 Salutatorian Mariana Sanchez Almeida. Lázaro Quesel Sanchez Armenteros. Graduating as a junior, Herman Sanchez. Paulina Serrano. Graduating as a junior, Kimberly Solis Inzunza. Shiloh Suen Flores. Jacorian Thomas. Anthony Nicholas Torres. Kaylee Josephine Torres. Yasmin Danieli Torres. Karen Janet Torres Lycia. Giselle Valle. Osiris Velasquez. Monica Juliet Velasquez Elizora. Class of 2025 Valedictorian Yalili Villarreal Ramirez. Christopher Yanez.
Thank you, everyone, and congratulations, graduates. As a reminder, please stay seated until the ceremony is complete and all graduates have left the building. A graduation tradition is the turning of the tassels. Tassels signify success. We move the tassels from one side to the other to symbolize moving on to the next stage in our lives. Leading the tassel ceremony is the 2025 Spirit of Leona recipient of Maya. The honor of Spirit of Leona is given to a graduate who exemplifies Leona values, who despite obstacles has persevered and demonstrated great character and determination in their lives and during their time at a Leona Group school. Please join me in welcoming this year's Maya High School's Leona School Spirit of Leona recipient, Azira Piercy.
Gotta turn the page. Take the mic down. Wow, there really is a lot of you. Hi, guys. It is an honor to be standing here today as a 2025 graduate of Maya High School. Now, with the class of 2025, please rise. All right. All right. As a traditional symbol that we are now officially high school graduates, please join me in moving your tassel from the right to the left. Congratulations, 2025.
Thank you, Azzy. We know you're excited to celebrate with the 2025 graduates, but as a reminder, for your safety and for the safety of other graduates and others, please keep the aisleways clear and do not exit the auditorium until all graduates have exited the building. The ceremony is complete when the graduates have left. You'll be able to meet your graduate in front of the building by exiting through the main doors. Ready? All right, I know you're hungry. Now, it is my honor and pleasure to present to you Maya High School graduating class of 2025.